Let's continue. Peace to everyone. Peace to everyone. My people, we must see. Hope you're having a great new year. Let's just start this off, man. Let's start it off right. Now remember what Richard E. Byrd, Admiral Byrd said that he saw. So let's first get this first-hand witness here. Let's get this eyewitness before we get back in the G&E, the world's beyond the pole. Thank you for flowing. Thank you for flowing. All right, so let's go. Let's just get to it.
It's time for the Longines Chronoscope, a television journal of the important issues of the hour, brought to you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. A presentation of the Longines Whitnall Watch Company, maker of Longines, the world's most honored watch, and Whitnall, distinguished companion to the world-honored Longines. Good evening, this is Frank Knight. May I introduce our co-editors for this edition of the Longines Chronoscope? Larry Lasser, CBS News correspondent, and Kenneth Crawford, National Affairs Editor of Newsweek magazine. Our very distinguished guest for this evening is Admiral Richard E. Byrd.
The North Pole used to be a no-man's land, but these are the days when, by buying a ticket on a commercial airliner, you can fly across the North Pole and drink a cocktail at the same time. Only 30 or more years ago, about 35 years ago, our guest tonight found out whether there was any land north of the North American continent. He made that first discovery flight, and I must say that Admiral Byrd, our guest tonight, is not only our greatest living explorer, but he's been an inspiration to countless Americans. Admiral Byrd, you've been to both the North Pole and the South Pole. Is there any unexplored land left on this earth that might appeal to adventurous young Americans?
Yes, there is. And not up around the North Pole, because it's getting crowded up there now, because they find out it's really usable, not only to live in, but militarily. But strangely enough, there's left in the world today an area as big as the United States that's never been seen by a human being. And that's beyond the pole, on the other side of the South Pole.
An area as big as the United States has never been seen before on the other side of the pole or other side of the wall. So if they're going, what they're calling south, past South America, what I'm saying? This part right here is basically what they show people on the globe. You see this little dot at the bottom of the globe. That's this right here. Now there's some, drop going on. And you're going to, continue to get all these military, expeditions and campaigns and invasions and all the things that was going on beyond this pole. Now pay attention again to what he says. There exists an area the size of North America. Ain't this the size of North America? Now he's not talking about this, and all the other worlds that they found you in, so-called Negro. But beyond the pole, there's another world. Another world. Oh, we know there are many. Love to Isaac Ford, man. And, man, click on them playlists, man. The brother's still dropping major albums. This is going to continue and build. So love to Isaac Ford for that. And, yeah, Isaac Ford, dropped this on us, man. Dropped it in on the classroom. And around here you got Thoth the Moving Island. And Thoth the Moving Island is that same area. Right here it has it more of a slither. But, according to this particular Japanese map found about 1,000 years ago in the caves of Japan. Here's that same Thoth the Moving Island. So we're paying attention to whichever one is right underneath South America. And again, you look at the UN flag. And they got the same exact map projection and a muzzle, aqueduction. What I'm talking about. Muzzle aqueductions. AE. I just call it AE. I can't say it. A muzzle aqueduction, something like that. But the AE projection, man, this projection goes back, man. As far as, who knows, you know what I'm saying? But, it's been substantiated in different areas like Japan, another map popping up all over the place. So let's pay attention to the island or the other land or the new world beyond South America that Admiral Byrd is talking about. Again, we have it represented right here as Thoth, the moving island, man. Is it play? Or does Thoth have a moving island, and is that what they rolled up on, and is that why they got smolly-whopped when they tried to roll up and do their, operation high jump situation that we got last time? And then they got, some high-tech smolly-whoppage, all right? Now, they said that Hitler already had bases, over here, and did Hitler do a deal with Thoth in them? They had a Nazi Thoth confederacy that these people weren't invited to at that time, which I'm sure everyone's all in the same pie now, as long as you're asleep, so-called Negro, because they found you here, and they're finding you all over the place. So South America, Thoth, the moving island, right here. And what did that man just say to you? What did that man just say on national TV? And how come you never heard about it? Antarctica again? You never heard about him ever? You never heard about anybody ever exploring anything as far as finding any new worlds since Columbus? Since the 1400s to them, that's the last time they even talked about any new worlds, but they'll tell you that they're launching off into outer space to find new worlds. So you can dream about it, but you can't go there. Giannini said, man, you go straight, man. You go straight to get to the celestial. The land-connected celestial areas of land, water, and ice. What did that man just tell you, Admiral Byrd? What did he just tell you? He's the most distinguished explorer in America, people. The last great explorer that corporation, that government had. And they silenced him after this, and you never heard about Antarctica again. But he gave you all the drop in national TV. What did he just tell you? Pay attention.
Yes, there is. And not up around the North Pole, because it's getting crowded up there now, because they find out it's really usable, not only to live in, but militarily. But strangely enough, there's left in the world today an area as big as the United States that's never been seen by a human being. And that's beyond the pole, on the other side of the South Pole, from Middle America. And I think it's quite astonishing that there should be an area as big as that unexplored.
That's a tremendous
So
job.
there's a lot of adventure left down at the bottom of the world.
Whoa. A lot of adventure left down at the bottom of the world. Okay, so I just wanted to get the first-hand eyewitness. Remember, man, I'm just glad to have this link still active, at least so I can still, dig on and dig on it with y'all, you know what I'm saying? And, I'm super excited about what's to come, for all the Drop Nation, man, to really get high-tech and, really get connected, man, in major, exciting ways, man. We are in that Flat Earth Conspiracy by Eric Dubé. We're going to get that today. We're getting that Worlds Beyond the Pole, man. Worlds Beyond the Pole today. And what else are we going to get? The Flat Earth Bible. Remember, we got The Enlightenment of the World by John Abizia. We dropped this whole book, so go get that. Go get that. All right. And we also, where we at? The Flat Earth Bible. There we go. The Flat Earth Bible by Robert J. Schwaldewald. All right. But we're going to get some of that and click on the links below. I got them all up for y'all, man. And click on those playlists, man. The Isaac Ford is dropping. You know what I'm saying? I think, I don't know if you dropped the Tri-Call Quest yet, but the Tri-Call Quest is coming, joint. I've been vibing to the Erykah Badu, man, and Big K.R.I.T. Big K.R.I.T. in 432 hertz. Big K.R.I.T. in 432 hertz. All right, man, y'all dig on it. Y'all got all the links below. It's going to be much more to come, man. Love to the bro. Putting in overtime, man, to get y'all, tuned all the way up, get you feeling good, get you vibrating, so you can be ready to approach any static and just leap over it. That's all you got to do when static approaches you, my people, is just leap over it, elevate on static, man. That's what you do. You know what I'm saying? Because that serves a greater purpose. You know, elevating on static serves a purpose for the creator. Not being distracted by BS, all that stuff, serves a purpose for the creator. So it's a skill set, but you know, we all fall short. But as much as we can, we gotta elevate. We gotta leap over that static, man. You know what I mean? Real talk, real spill. So I said we're gonna get the Flat Earth Bible. And we dropped some of this before. I just want to revisit it because it connects a lot with the scriptures, all right? Especially the Tanakh. So, you know, a lot of people say, "Oh man, well the earth is round," and I can prove it in scripture. You know, you see it all the time. So, you know, now that you are oriented, now that you you know, have connected a few other things, maybe this will flow flow a little more pure water. If you ever had difficulty seeing it, and just fall back and, you know, put your guard down. Don't try to fight everything. You know what I mean? Just fall back and just see where it's at. Use your senses and see if this particular comprehension is just some primitive BS. And it makes sense that the way NASA breaks it down, you know what I'm saying, going, you know, 96 million miles per hour, 1,000, you know, whatever, spinning and on a wobble and doing all that stuff, you know what I'm saying, or that there's this, you know, chandelier activity going on above you, around you, and it all is circulating around your particular energy. Your particular energy is the source of this entire thing, but they trap you in the grid and say that the grid is more important. When you come from above the barrier, there's nothing more important than the energy that you manifest right here from above the barrier. That's more important. That's why it all cycles around you. You are their son. You know what I'm saying? You are their savior. You're their son. You're their Mashiach. You, so-called Negro. Copper is a conduit. Copper is an energy. Copper color is an energy. Adam. You are the earth. You are the framer, you are the shaper. So much power. What will you do with it when you come out of her? So in scripture, let's just check it out. So see what this guy says, man. He says, when I first became interested in the flat earthers in the early 1970s, I was surprised to learn that flat earthism in an English-speaking world is and always has been entirely based upon the Bible. I have since assembled and read an extensive collection of flat earth literature. The biblical arguments for flat earthism that follow come mainly from my reading of flat earth literature, augmented by my own reading of the Bible. Except among biblical inerranists, it is generally agreed that the Bible described an immovable earth. So yeah, some people see it differently. But let's see what we see. At the 1984 National Bible Science Conference in Cleveland, geocentrist James N. Hansen told me there are hundreds of scriptures that suggest the earth is immovable. I suspect some must be a bit vague, but here are a few obvious texts. 1 Chronicles 16:30. He has fixed the earth firm, immovable. Psalm 93:1. Thou hast fixed the earth immovable and firm. How do you get spinning ball out of that? How is it possible to comprehend a spinning ball out of being immovable and firm? Psalm 96:10, he has fixed the earth firm, immovable. Psalm 104:5, thou didst fix the earth on its foundation, so that it can never be shaken. Foundation. How do you get a spinning ball? Isaiah 45:18, who made the earth and fashioned it, and himself fixed it fast, fixed, firm, fixed, immovable. Are we getting a concept here? You see, along with this new test came a new cosmology, a new spell. Then this new spell is this heliocentrism, where things had to revolve around the sun, and then so comes their sun, so comes their Zeus, their Zeus. So they say, accept our Jesus, accept our Zeus, whatever version of him that's coming with this new test, and with that, accept this Baal, this ball, this Baal, and spin around for eternity. Spin around. Would your Creator have you spin around for eternity? And if you were spinning around, wouldn't that be, clear as day, written and put out? Why would the scriptures tell you that thou hast fixed the earth immovable and firm on its foundation so that it can never be shaken? Fashioned it, fixed it fast, fixed it, fixed. All right, let's go. Suffice to say, the earth envisioned by flat earthers is as immovable as any geocentrist could desire. Most, perhaps all, scriptures commonly cited by geocentrists have also been cited by flat earthers. The flat earth view is geocentricity with further restrictions. Like geocentrists, flat earth advocates often give long lists of texts. Samuel Burley Robotham, founder of the modern flat earth movement, whatever that is, cited 76 scriptures in the last chapter of his monumental second edition of Earth Not a Globe. Apostle Anton Darms assisted to Reverend Wilbur Glenn Voliva, America's best known flat earther, compiled 50 questions about the creation and the shape of the earth, bolstering his answers with up to 20 scriptures each. Rather than presenting an exhaustive compendium of flat earth scriptures, I focus on those which seem to me the strongest. I also comment on some attempts to find the earth sphericity in the Bible. So is the earth spherical? All right, let's go. Scriptural quotes, unless otherwise noted, are from the New English Bible. Hebrew and Greek translations are from the Strong's exhaustive concordance of the Bible. The biblical cosmology is never explicitly stated, so it must be pieced together from scattering passages. The Bible is a composite work, so there is no a priori reason why the cosmology assumed by its various writers should be relatively consistent, but it is. The Bible is, from Genesis to Revelation, a flat earth book. Now, this is hardly surprising, as neighbors, the ancient Hebrews and the Egyptians to the southwest and the Babylonians to the northeast, both civilizations had flat earth cosmologies. The biblical cosmology closely parallels the Sumero-Babylonian cosmology, and it may also draw upon Egyptian cosmology. Remember when we had, let's see, Egypt. Let's see. Egyptian cosmology. And you'll see various pictures of this, a lot of them with the stars inside this, what they're calling the goddess Nut, spread over the sky goddess and her brother Geb. So he's representing this hilly earth with the hills, peaks and valleys, and she's the sky goddess. And here you go, Thoth and the gang in there, holding it up, Ra and them, outside, whispering from outside, acting like they can get outside the barrier, but they just got their celestial lands, their connected sky areas. So this is what we're talking about with this Egyptian cosmology. Both civilizations had flat earth cosmology. The biblical cosmology closely parallels the Sumer-Babylonian cosmology, and it may also draw upon Egyptian cosmology, which is telling you that there is a barrier. There's the land and there's a barrier. Firm, fixed, immovable. I don't see a sphere. I don't see a spinning ball out of this. I don't get a spinning ball out of this. All right. So this is hardly surprising. All right. So the Babylonian universe was shaped like a modern domed stadium. So the Babylonian universe was shaped like a modern domed stadium. The Babylonians considered the earth essentially flat with a continental mass surrounded by ocean. The vault of the sky was a physical object resting upon the ocean's water and perhaps also upon pillars. Sweet, salt-free waters below the earth sometimes manifest themselves as springs. The Egyptian universe was also enclosed. The Egyptian universe was also enclosed. The Egyptian universe was also enclosed. But it was rectangular instead of round. Indeed, it was shaped much like an old-fashioned steamer trunk. The Egyptians pictured the goddess Nut stretched across the sky as the enclosed dome. Their goddess Nut or Nut, all right, stretched across the sky like the enclosed dome. All right, so we're right there. We're together so far. What was the Hebrew view of the universe? The order of creation, the Genesis creation story provided the first key to the Hebrew cosmology. The order of creation makes no sense from a conventional perspective, but it is perfectly logical from a flat earth viewpoint. The earth was created on the first day, and it was without form and void. Genesis 1:2. On the second day, a vault, the firmament of the King James Version, was divided to divide the waters, some being above and some below the vault. Only on the fourth day were the sun, moon, and stars created. And they were placed in, not above the vault. And they were placed in, not above the vault. In the vault. The vault of heaven. The vault of heaven is a crucial concept. The word firmament appears in the King James Version on the Old Testament 17 times, and in each case it is translated from the Hebrew word rakia. All right, so let's speak some frequency, man. Let's all learn some Hebrew. All right, so rakia. All right, is there a Hebrew word which meant visible vault of the sky? So when you're talking about the firmament, that's your rakia. Come on. The word rakia comes from rikwa, meaning beaten out. In ancient times, brass objects were either cast in the form required or beaten into shape on an anvil. A good craftsman could beat a lump of cast brass into a thin bowl. Thus, Elihu asked Job, "Can you beat out Raka, the vault of the skies, as he does, hard as a mirror of cast metal?" Job 31:18. See, Job has a lot of drop when it comes to orientation. So does Enoch. Even Joshua, when he says, tells the sun to stand still, right? He says, "Stand still, man, so I can keep whooping some tail, man." All right, so why would he ask the sun to stand still if he was spinning around the sun? All right, the sun is small. It's very small, according to Enoch, 32 miles in diameter, matching the moon 32 miles in diameter, according to Enoch. And that's your, 32 miles, they cross each other. That's that eclipse. And then there's another rogue object that eclipses the moon, causing your lunar eclipse. But it's very small compared to the earth. The earth, man, is what some call infinite, man. Some call it infinite. You know what I'm saying? Imagine a creator creates and creates and creates. All right. Dimensions, layered, there's levels to this game. So these suns, there's multiple, according to these maps, like the one Isaac Ford dropped on us, man. Where we at? You have a sun here. Look how small this sun is compared to the earth. So, now they call their moon Set in Anubis. All right, so you know where this is coming from. This is the Egyptian Atlantean hijack. You got Thoth, the moving island, and next to that you have Bull. All right, I thought this, the first time seeing this, I thought this was Sol as well, but they call this B-O-L. B-O-L. Bol, almost like Baal. Bol. Then you have Ra, the summer gate, and Bol right here. So you have another sun. Another sun. All right, as big as I can get it. Another sun. And another moon called Yah, which we got according to etymology. You're getting an exclamation of defiance. So you have an exclamation of defiance and another exclamation of defiance, and then the Set and Anubis with the Ra and the Thoth moving island. So any frequency they're speaking, clearly they feel very comfortable speaking that frequency. If this is the same, energy of this entire board that they're putting together. Gemina Ra, Gemina Set, Geminia, Petatia, Sagarium. These are the names of their places, man. These are their worlds, right? You want another world? You call it a planet? Here's more worlds, extended land areas. So there's multiple suns, man. Man, Can you beat out Rakwa, the vault, as he does? Hard as a mirror of cast metal. So clearly he's describing the Creator beating out in the Papal, you know what I'm saying, the Mayan, you know what I'm saying, text, the Quiches, animals of the Cockchiqual. They're breaking down the framer and the shaper, you know what I'm saying, and the God of the sky, the God of the earth situation, all right? So one God is beating out the sky, you know what I'm saying, creating the barrier, guarding the energy, guarding the vibration, you know what I'm saying, God of the earth, Mother Earth situation. So you have the framer and the shaper, the wisdom, you know, the wisdom with wisdom. Same thing, it's the duality. It's not just a male, it's a male feminine connection. It's whatever you want to, you know what I'm saying, call this flow, this torsion going back and forth, this flow, you know what I'm saying? But when we've been cut off in religion, and you give us, you know, this male oriented one side of things, and then another religion gives you a female oriented energy, and these are hijacked male energies and hijacked feminine energies, and none of them is representing your mother. None of these feminine energies are representing your mother with wisdom. Just because it's a feminine energy doesn't make it wisdom. Just because it's a male energy doesn't make it your shaper, your vibration. Can you beat out Rakwa, the vault of the sky, as he does, hard as a mirror of cast metal? So there is a vault, there is a vault, there is a vault, there is a vault. We've all seen Hebrew flat earth cosmology, I assume, but let's go. You know, these are just some general images that pop up, showing you the vault, the firmament. All right. Vault. Placing the sun in the vault. The floodgates, waters above. Sheol. Sheol. Alright. That's the underground situation. Columns of the earth. Don't these just look like tree roots? Don't these just look like tree roots? Alright. Then you see other ones that have the tree of life in the middle. You know what I mean? So don't these look like tree roots? You go into the caves, the crystal roots, the crystal brains of the tree. The stars are placed within this vault. All right. So you got the Egyptian vault and the Hebrew vault. Let's keep going. All right. So Elihu's question shows that the Hebrews considered the vault of heaven a solid physical object. Such a large dome would be a tremendous feat of engineering. The Hebrews, and supposedly who they're calling Yahweh, Hawa, considered it exactly that. And this point is hammered home by 5 scriptures. All right, Job 9 and 10. Who by himself spread out the heavens, Shamayim. Psalms 19:1. The heavens, Shamayim, tell out the glory of God. The vault of heaven, Rakia, reveals his handiwork. So these heavens, Shamayim, are the heavens, Shamayim. All right, learn some Hebrew with me. Come on. So you got Rakia, Rakwa, beat out, beating out, the visible vault of the sky, the visible vault of heaven, Rakia. Rakah is the beat out. Rakia is the actual vault. Then you got the Shamayim, the heavens, Shamayim, tell out the glory of Hawa. The vault of heaven, Rakia. The vault of heaven, Rakia, reveals his handiwork. Psalms 102:25, the heavens, Shamayim, were thy handiwork. Isaiah 45:12, I with my own hand stretched out the heavens, Shamayim, and caused all their hosts to shine. Isaiah 48:13, with my right hand I formed the expanse of the sky, Shamayim, God of the sky. Beat out, Rakwa, Rakah, the vault of heaven, Rakia. Spread out the heavens, Shamayim. Spread out the heavens, Shamayim. Spread out these heavens, Shamayim. Spread it out. Spread out. Just like their God is Nut, is spread out the heavens. These heavens are spread out. You could even find one that's in a color. Let's see. Egyptian, flat, earth, Nut. Let's try that. Man, what's that? See, they're all over the place, apparently. On the walls of Egypt. Wow. So this is another depiction of their God is Nut. Spread out. You see the stars. Now, this one actually has stars outside of her. And then all the steps to ascension within these stars that spread out. So you have like a lower celestial situation and a higher celestial situation. Even, I guess, showing that there's something beyond her. There's something beyond this barrier. Interesting, man. Let's try to get another one, man. What else can we get? This one's small. Let's see. Look at this one. All right. Any questions? So it's not just one source, people. I mean, you have many sources, you know. Everyone can see it on the wall. Everyone can see him on the wall. Again, she's, you know, these stars now. The other one's interesting that they're acknowledging something beyond this barrier. Higher stars, higher vibrations. Human biofield. And here's Geb, the God of the earth, the cosmic father. So it's almost like they kind of flip-flopped this framer and shaper situation based on the Maya cliches, you know. As Geb having a male God of the earth, as, you know, as opposed to a mother earth, and then a God of the sky being male, you know, flip-flop, you know what I mean? I mean, man, did they flip-flop us, man? I guess it would make sense that they would flip-flop us, man. All right. We kind of see it happening. All in real time. All right, cool. Let's get back to it. So Shamayim were their handiwork. And these verses are about, if these verses are about a mere illusion of a vault, they are surely much ado about nothing. Shamayim comes from Shemeh, a root meaning to be lofty. All right, learn this Hebrew with me, family. All right. Shamayim comes from Shemeh, a root meaning to be lofty. It literally means the sky. Other passages complete the picture of the sky as a lofty physical dome. God, Hawa, sits throned on the vaulted roof of earth, Shaug, earth, Shaug, whose inhabitants are like grasshoppers. He stretches out the skies, Shamayim, like a curtain. He spreads them out like a tent to live in. Like a tent to live in. Like a tent to live in. Stretches out, Shamayim stretches out the heavens, the stars, like a tent to live in. There's no spinning Baal here. That's that new Copernican. Let's go. Stretches out, sits throned on the vault roof of earth. Shug, whose inhabitants are like grasshoppers. He stretches out the sky, Shamayim, like a curtain. He spreads them out like a tent to live in. Isaiah 40:22. Now, Shaug literally means circle or encompassed, not round ball. Circle or encompassed, 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 encompassed. Everything is encompassed within this barrier, this firmament. Encompassed. It's all encompassed within. Their God is Nut and their God Geb. Alright? That's they peoples. Come on. We're getting oriented, man. It's right on time, and it's time for us. It's harvest season. We got to know our land, man. We got to know our orientation. Now, because, you know, a lot of bros, you know what I'm saying? I mean, we're back with the melanated tour of play, man, and we get this all the time because people would, you know, can see this because it's been programmed in their minds like it means a spherical ball somewhere. And when we break it down, even to the base of the primitive root word, the Hebrew, we break it all the way down to the root. And what are we getting? Sha'ug literally means circle, shamayim, sky, stars. He stretched out the stars like a curtain. He spreads them out like a tent to live in. That's your Isaiah 40:22. Sha'ug, earth. Sha'ug literally means circle. So when it says God sits throned on the vaulted roof of earth, Sha'ug, that means he's sitting on this circle, or he's sitting on this encompassed. By extension, it can mean roundness, sitting on the roundness of the vault, as in a rounded dome or vault. So you go crazy because you see round and you think ball, you think sphere, you think ball, you think sphere. But this is a roundness. All right, so when you hear flat, it's like a trigger. Oh, it's just a flat pancake. You know, no, there's nothing flat. All right, there's hills and there's valleys. And then there's a roundness of the barrier that's being described here in the scripture. And then there's waters above and waters below. Waters above. So you're really all about being pure water because you're surrounded by it. You never want to go against the wave and the water you're swimming in because you're surrounded by it. And the water can take you to the abyss. It can wash you off the board because you're surrounded by the water. The creator, Hawa. So, Sha'ug literally means circle or encompass. By extension, it can mean roundness, as in a rounded dome or vault. Job 22:14 says, God walks to and fro on the vault of heaven. Sha'ug. In both verses, the use of Sha'ug implies a physical object on which one can sit and walk. Likewise, the context in both cases requires elevation. In Isaiah, the elevation causes the people below to look small like grasshoppers. In Job, Hawa's eyes must penetrate the clouds to view the doings of the humans below. Elevation is also implied by Job 22:12. Surely Hawa is at the zenith of the heavens, Shamayim, and looks down on all the stars, high as they are. The picture of the cosmos is reinforced in Ezekiel's vision. The Hebrew word rakia appears 5 times in Ezekiel, 4 times in Ezekiel 1:22-26, and once in Ezekiel 10:1. In each case, the context requires a literal vault or dome. A literal vault or dome. A literal vault or dome. The vault appears above the living creatures and glitters like a sheet of ice. Above the vault is a throne of sapphire, or lapis lazuli. Seated on the throne is a form of human likeness which is radiant and like the appearance of the glory of Hawa. In short, Ezekiel saw a vision of Hawa sitting throned on the vault of heaven as described in Isaiah 40:22. The shape of the earth, disregarding the dome, the essential flatness of the earth's surface is required by verses like Daniel 4:10-11. Daniel the king saw a tree. I told you that some had this tree, and yes, in the scripture there is a tree of great height at the center of the earth, reaching with its top to the sky and visible to the earth's farthest bounds. How is that possible on a sphere? How is it possible on a sphere to have a tree in the center of it I guess it's spinning at 1,000 miles per hour on a wobble. All right, this giant tree of great height at the center, reaching with its top to the sky, invisible to the earth's furthest bound. So no matter to the farthest degree of where you can go on earth, you can see this tree in the center. No matter if you go to the furthest this way, furthest that way, that way, that way. This tree was so tall before it was cut down, like all your other mountains that are trees. Imagine this being the tree, all right? Everyone can see it. It's at the center. It's at the center. Now you put that on the ball and you don't have a situation where everyone can see it. If you're on the other side of the ball, I guess you're out of luck, right? Oh, you're about to get there. All right, so Daniel, the king saw a tree of great height at the center of the earth, reaching with its top to the sky, invisible to the earth's furthest bounds. If the earth were flat, a sufficiently tall tree would be visible to the earth's furthest bounds, but this is impossible on a spherical earth. Likewise, in describing the temptation of Jesus by Satan, Matthew 4:8 says, once again the devil took him to a very high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the earth, cosmos, in their glory. Obviously, the world would be possible. Obviously, this would be possible if the earth were flat. The same is true in Revelations 1:7. Behold, he is coming with the clouds. Every eye shall see him. Every eye shall see him with the clouds. But if you're on the other side of that ball, you have a different set of clouds, right? You can't see your Jesus coming back on the other side of that ball. Every eye shall see him. Every eye. Only possible in a cosmology where everyone looks up together and everyone can see, the creator, not Jesus or their Project Bluebeam. Everyone can see at the same time. All right, whatever's coming, whatever you're going to see, everyone could be able to see because everyone could look up. But on a ball, up is wherever you're on the ball. You're over here on the ball, that's up. That's up if you're on this side of the ball. That's up, that's up. Everyone has the sky. Everyone has a perspective. Here you have a common perspective. Thus, every eye can see him. Thus, you have a tree that can be seen to the furthest bounds. All right. So we're just getting some basics. And what's dope is that he's going to get into the Book of Enoch, which, of course, is what we're into right now. So, you know what I'm saying? I look forward to getting that probably on the next part. We'll start tearing into that Book of Enoch. But let's just keep going, man. Eric Dubay, had some good stuff, man. Answered some pretty, basic questions, man. And, kind of takes you there a little bit, man. So, these are just some great starting points. And you can keep going to the Gianninis. I mean, that's when you really get like, connected celestial skyers. That extends and starts to get you really, comprehending a couple elements there, man. So let's just start from the top. Last time we got chapter 2. Let's get chapter 1. The earth, the globe earth lie. Wolves in sheep's clothing have pulled the wools over our eyes for almost 500 years. The masses have been thoroughly deceived by a cosmic fairy tale of astronomical proportions. We have been taught a falsehood so gigantic and diabolical that it has blinded us from our own experience and common sense, from seeing the world and universe as they truly are. Through pseudo-science books and programs, mass media and public education, and universities and government propaganda, the world has been systematically brainwashed, slowly indoctrinated over centuries into the unquestioning belief of the greatest lie of all time. Man, children are taught in their geography books when too young to apprehend aright the meaning of such things. But these are the images they're given. Even on it's just Dora the Explorer, or whatever the astronaut, whatever, what I'm talking about. All those space joints, even the Disney joints, but they always kept, and this is the inception now of the universe, according to them. So every time this comes on, I tell my children, man, is that real or fake? We know the earth's not a ball. I'm like, all right, as long as you say it so that it deprograms whatever program's happening at that particular moment. that the world is a great globe revolving around the sun, and the story is repeated continuously year by year till they reach maturity, at which time they generally become so absorbed in other matters as to be indifferent. Who cares? I don't care. Who cares? I don't care. When have you not cared about Hawa's earth? When have you not cared about the Creator's earth? When have you not cared if you're spinning or not? Who cares if I'm spinning? As long as I get to work on time. Spinning don't pay my bills. Man, it matters so much, man. If you put a damn, a guinea pig in a damn, cage, and the first thing they're going to do is sniff out their environment. You put a fish in a fish tank, the first thing that fish is going to do is get to know its environment. Unless it's brain dead. Does the fish not care about the elements of that fish tank? In that water? Why don't you care about the elements in your water? Why have you become indifferent as to whether the teaching be true or not? And they hear of nobody contradicting it. They presume that it must be the correct thing, if not to believe, at least to receive it as a fact. Thus they tactically give their assent to a theory which, if they had first been presented to them at what are called years of discretion, right? So you got that, children, man, years 3, 4, 5, 6. These are the years of discretion. If you had presented, they were presented, if they were first presented to them at what are called the years of discretion, they would at once have rejected, or, the years of discretion they're describing, or, more years that they can comprehend what they're, being seen, or, growing up to have a, thinking process. So, So here we go. Years of discretion. So if they can get them during these years of discretion, during the time that they can have a thinking process, they would at once have rejected. The consequences of evil teaching, whether in religion or in science, are far more disastrous than is generally supposed, especially in a luxurious laissez-faire age like our own. The intelligent becomes weakened and the conscious seared. The intelligent become weakened and the conscious seared. Now we got the conscious community, but they're seared because this is their perspective of cosmology. You got intellects, man, but they're weakened because this is their perspective of cosmology. And how can they ever be still and focused if they're spinning for eternity? And that was from David Wardlaw Scott. Terraformer, the earth, not a planet, proved from scripture. All right. Let me skip down a little bit. Let me go right here. All right. So we have been taught that the ball earth spins at a constant velocity, perfectly dragging the atmosphere along, so we cannot feel the slightest bit of motion. Ain't that what you've been taught? The earth spins at some constant velocity, perfectly dragging the atmosphere along, so we cannot feel even the slightest bit of motion. That's why we can't feel nothing. It's just this perfect dragging, this perfect perturbation, wind or air resistance. We can't feel none of this stuff. It's just this perfect gravity scenario where we don't feel this motion, nothing perturbing anything. We don't feel, the wind, the air resistance, even though we're spinning at what NASA's calling 1,100 miles per hour. They say we cannot feel any of this motion because the magical Velcro of gravity pulls the atmosphere precisely along, and we cannot measure any of the motion because the stars are so incredibly far away at over 100 million miles of supposed annual orbit around the sun amounts to not a single inch of relative parallax change. How convenient. We have been taught that the apparent orbit of the sun, planets and stars, but not the moon, around the earth are all optical illusions, and that it is in fact the earth beneath our feet which moves. and our eyes that deceive us. Special exception is made for the moon, however, which is said to revolve around the earth just as it appears. Since we only ever see one side of the moon, we have been taught this is because the moon's supposed 10.3 miles west to east rotation combined with the 2.288 mile per hour orbit of the earth just happens to be the exact motion and speed necessary to perfectly cancel out the earth's supposed 1,000 miles per hour east to west rotation and 67,000 miles per hour orbit around the sun, thereby creating the perpetual dark side of the moon illusion. You have to buy this in school. You have to take tests on this to realize it's only a theory in someone's head. And why is this in the walls of Egypt? And why is this, consistent with Scripture? Firm, fixed, and immovable. And the Book of Enoch. Come on. So this earth is going at 67,000 miles per hour. And the sun is traveling at 100-something thousand miles per hour. Faster than the earth, but we're catching it, orbiting it, spinning and wobbling. And we only see one side of the moon. Though the sun and the moon appear to be relatively equal-sized bodies, like the Enoch says, 32 miles, they look like the same size. Earth, we have been taught that this too is an optical illusion, and they are in fact thousands of miles divergent in diameter. They say that the sun is actually a whopping 865,374 miles across. Wow, that's a far cry from 32 miles, ain't it? 109 times wider than the earth, and contrary to all experience, experiments, and common sense, that we revolve around it. They say the moon is 2,159 miles across, a quarter the earth the quarter the size of the earth, and why they appear the same size is because the moon is only 238,000 miles away, while the sun is an unfathomable 93 million miles away from the earth, and this just happens to be the exact diameters and distance necessary for a viewer from Earth to falsely perceive them as being the same size. You don't say. All right, let's get this quote and we're going to move on to that genie. A sphere where people on the other side live with their feet above their heads, where rain, snow, and hail fall upwards, where trees and crops grow upside down and the sky is lower than the ground. The ancient wonder of the hanging gardens of Babylon dwindle into nothing in comparison to the fields, seas, and towns and mountains that pagan philosophers, Copernicus, believed to be hanging from the earth without support. And that's from Lactantius on the false wisdom of philosophers. Another quote, I confess that I cannot imagine how any human being in this proper sense can believe that the sun is stationary when with his own eyes he sees it revolving around the heavens, nor how can he believe that the earth on which he stands is whirling with the speed of lightning around the sun when he feels not the slightest motion. David Warlord Scott, terraformer. We've been taught that these tiny pinpricks of light in the night sky, known as planets or wandering stars, are actually physical, globular, Earth-like habitations millions of miles away. We have even been shown supposed video footage. The one called Mars. We have been taught that the tiny pinpricks of light in the night sky, known as the fixed stars, are actually distant suns trillions of miles away, each complete with their own solar systems, orbiting moons, Earth-like planets which potentially harbor alien life. We've been taught that the moon has no light of its own, but is merely a reflector of the sun's light, that some Masons from NASA actually walked on the moon, that some other Masons from NASA sent rovers to Mars, that the satellites and space stations are incessantly spinning in suspended animation above the Earth. That Hubble telescopes are taking snapshots of different planets, galaxies, and stars, quasars, black holes, wormholes, and other fantastic celestial phenomena. We have been taught that our ignorant ancient ancestors for millennia falsely believed the Earth to be flat, immovable center of the universe. But thanks to modern science and its Masonic prophets like Copernicus, Newton, Galileo, Collins, Aldrin, and Armstrong, we now believe the world to be a giant whirling sea-earth globe careening through infinite space. So, here's your new modern situation because of these Masons, this club of secret knowledge. All right, man, let's go. Giannini, world's beyond the pole. Last time we got chapter 12. You see how we're flowing. So we got a little bit of, the flat earth situation. Next time we get more scripture. Because, there's a lot more too, especially when we dig on Enoch, the cosmos as described by the Book of Enoch. Firm, fixed, and immovable. Let's go. It's time to get beyond the poles, my people. Beyond the poles, my people. And remember, nobody said it better than Richard E. Byrd.
But strangely enough, there's left in the world today an area as big as the United States that's never been seen by a human being. And that's beyond the pole, on the other side of the South Pole, from Middle America. And I think it's quite astonishing that there should be an area as big as that unexplored.
That's a tremendous
So
challenge.
there's a lot of adventure left down at the bottom of the world.
Well,
It's astonishing that there should be an area like that unexplored. I think Giannini feels you, dog. Let's go. So yeah, man. Let's just jump into this connected universe, Mistress of Deception. Let's go to 26 on it. Shalom to the family, peace to the family. Look at this diagram. All right, land, earth, water, land, ice, water, land, ice, and water throughout the universe. Stratosphere, you got the link, study this stuff. Endless connecting land beyond North Pole, discovered February 1947 by Rear Admiral Richard E. Byrd. By Rear Admiral Richard E. Byrd. And what did Richard E. Byrd just say? I wasn't planning this, man.
Getting crowded up there now because they find out it's really usable, not only to live in, but militarily. But strangely enough, there's left in the world today an area as big as the United States that's never been seen by a human being. And that's beyond the pole, on the other side of the South Pole.
On the other side of the wall. So yeah. Endless connecting land beyond North Pole, discovered February 1947, same time as that interview, by Admiral Richard E. Byrd, U.S. Navy. Earth's North Pole, Earth's South Pole. And you get the drop that we dropped before, Worlds Beyond the Pole. Check it out. This is interesting, right? You're thinking the globe, North Pole, South Pole. And that's when I said, are both poles located over here? Whatever exits we're talking about. Let's just say both poles were located this direction. And the Most High had these people trapped where they can only get to the Mediterranean Sea. Check out the Insular Worlds drop. They couldn't even get out to the true ocean. They finally broke their partition in 14, whatever, Columbus coming over and finding you. That's where the Garden of Eden is. That's where Jerusalem is. That's where the promised lands are. And that's where these portals are and these gates are. However, you know, this might be a shifting situation, however it works, but there's more worlds outside of it. And I said, are these portals or these entrances over here? And they finally got access to these entrances that are yours by birthright. Your orientation is more important than ever, so-called Negro, copper-colored race found here by the European. Your orientation is very important. If both the Earth's North Pole and South Pole are here, U.S. Naval Force Flight 2,300 miles beyond South Pole, January 13, 1956, they went 2,300 miles beyond this pole. Connecting land discovery beyond the South Pole, December 1928, Rear Admiral Richard E. Byrd. So first, Admiral Byrd discovered in 1928 the connecting land discovery beyond the South Pole. Then he found the endless connecting land beyond the North Pole. So he found an endless connecting land beyond the North Pole and South Pole. So when he's talking North and South Pole, he's not talking North and South Pole like you're talking on a globe. He knows better. He's talking two poles that are next to each other. And he found the endless connecting land. And here you have from North Pole into the so-called heavens above. You can connect to more endless land here. From the South Pole into the so-called heavens above, you can connect to more celestial land, ice, water. Man, so the earth, as it must deceptively appear, and as it has been misinterpreted throughout the ages. All right, because you're thinking it's a ball, but we're talking about two poles next to each other. You got another one. Any part of Earth's luminous outer sky, as proven, is just another star or planet. Any part of Earth's luminous outer sky, any part of anything shining that you see, anything shining in the sky, anything sparkling in the sky, any part of Earth's luminous outer sky, as proven, is just another star or planet. Any part of Earth's luminous outer sky, as proven, is just another star or planet. What they're calling planet, star. It's all connected. It's all the same. Any part of this outer sky is all the same thing. All the same thing. All the same thing. All the same thing. So-called heavens above. They're not above you. Ice, land, and water is all they are. Any part of Earth's luminous sky is just ice, land, and water. Let's go. Connected universe, mistress of deception. Let us remember it is the brain that sees in the human eye. That the human eye is only a faulty window which shows us but an infinitesimal portion of the universe about us. All right. Beautiful thing right there. Let us remember it is the brain that sees. All right. We got that drop before, how your eyes don't see. Your eyes are just, picking up light, but they're also bending light because it's a concave lens. And your brain is picking up that signal and then transferring, okay, that is a tree. That is a this based on this light spectrum, but we only see less than 1% of the light spectrum with these eyes. So how much more can you pick up with your brain? Figure 1 indicates the deceptions experienced in the telescopic observation of the universe about us, but it is not intended to show the true contour of the universe whole. It is meant to express only the salient features of physical continuity. It shows all connected land and sky areas of the universe have positive continuity with the earth, but it also shows how every sky area of the universe must deceptively appear to telescopic detection as a globular area. And that deception of globularity imposes the delusion that the earth, that the areas are isolated. So That deception of globalarity that you're thinking you're seeing all these globes and planets impose the delusion that the areas are isolated. Connected areas or parts of the illustration's luminous outer sky curves may be considered star areas between the planets, though the illustration shows them all more or less alike. There does exist variation in their luminous depth, but they are all areas of the luminous outer sky surface of the universe. Variations in luminous depth result from differences in intensity of gaseous sky content. Such variations in turn develop differences in the astronomer's spectrum and spectroscopic analysis. All luminous areas of the universe illustration are, in common with the universe it represents, observable parts of an infinitely continuous and unbroken outer sky surface. So as much as we go over this, it's still even hard, for me to really conceive an infinite, continuous, and unbroken outer sky surface. I mean, that's a brain, that's a mind screw. I mean, that's pretty screwy. But it's only because I'm so screwed up that it's hard for me to conceive the, infinite nature of things, the infinite, continuous, and unbroken outer sky surface. All the twinkle twinkle you see is part of an infinite, continuous, and unbroken sky surface. It covers underlining celestial land, water, ice, and it covers such elements of terrestrial land, earth. There's also shown the region of atmospheric density between land surface and the inner blue sky. The difference is the same at celestial level as it is at terrestrial level, and the oxygen content is sufficient to sustain vegetation and life at celestial level. In the Copernican concept of planetary isolation, the sun is assumed to occupy the center of the dark stratosphere, and connecting outer sky areas of the universe are assumed to be isolated units, and they are assumed to perform a rotative movement around the sun's center of a mathematically prescribed universe subdivision known as the solar system. The solar system arrangement, which embraces the Earth, represents something of a combined celestial and terrestrial pinwheel. To make for easier comprehension of physical continuity, the pinwheel solar system center, or sun, has in a way been pulled out to afford it reasonable placement as a guide or leader for the entire connected universe. The leader, the sun, is Zeus. As the illustration shows, every previously assumed isolated area of the universe whole, including the Earth, holds its original position, firm, fixed, immovable. Original position in the universe structure, and every area maintains its daily and yearly relation to the sun. Accordingly, the illustration shows how the land and sky of the celestial extend to connect with the Earth's imaginary pole points. It shows that we may move beyond the Earth without falling off the edge. Falling off the edge, remember. Their depiction, man, that they try to put in your brain is that don't sail too far, you'll fall off the edge. And even today, your brothers be like, oh man, where's the edge? You're on the flat earth, where's the edge? And then you say, what maps have you seen? What research have you done into the 1,000-year-old Japanese maps showing that this wall here, all right, walls of ice, pockets of water, new worlds, the moving islands. And we can pull up pictures of ice walls, Antarctic ice walls all day. And Operation High Jump was only called Operation High Jump because they were doing a high jump over a high wall. Falling off the ends. The following descriptive material in conjunction with the illustration should afford ample guidance for comprehension of the factual universe as it was created. All right, about to get to it. How we doing? few more minutes of this, man. We're going to get into, I'm going to see how we're doing. Let's go. I don't want to make no promises, but I do want to get into something. Let's go. So number one, again, the following descriptive material in conjunction with the illustration should afford ample guidance for comprehension of the factual universe as it was created. Factual. Let's go. Number one, the dark center represents the perpetually dark stratosphere surrounding the terrestrial and the celestial. Now, I wonder if we're talking about this figure here. I believe he wants us to remember this one here or refer to it, because I don't know what this part is here. Maybe that's what he's describing. Let's see what he's saying. Where we at? All right. Okay. The dark center represents the perpetually dark stratosphere surrounding the terrestrial and the celestial. It is part of the dark void of infinity wherein the universe whole was created. The luminous outer partial disk to be observed against stratosphere darkness represent the sky light developed over all areas of the universe. A continuity of the same blue sky we observe from land surface everywhere on the terrestrial is seen by inhabitants of every other universe area when they, as we do, look up or out from their respective land surface positions. In looking through their inner blue sky at night, they observe the luminosity of our gaseous outer sky areas in precisely the same manner we observe their outer sky luminosity against the darkness. Since their lenses cannot be expected to penetrate through areas of our luminous skylight and detect the land under our sky, it is most likely that they have deducted as erroneously of our and as we have of their land, or they have the drop on us. Simple and plain. Therefore, the inner side of all outer luminous disk-like areas of the illustration may be understood to represent the familiar gas sky envelope observable from any terrestrial location as our particular blue sky. From all other land areas of the universe, the blue sky likewise seen represents the particular sky of inhabitants of such areas. So all you're seeing is the gaseous sky area of a particular land area. And you're saying, oh, it's a globular star, sun thing, millions of miles away. And that's your perspective. But that was your inception. And we could remove it. We could all remove it. You know what I mean? It'd be firm, fixed, and immovable. And as much as recent U.S. naval stratosphere photographs of outer sky areas prove them to be luminous and presenting the identical appearance of celestial areas, confirmation is had that there exists the same gaseous sky content for the celestial as is known to envelope the terrestrial. Since the luminosity of outer terrestrial sky areas corresponds to that of outer celestial sky areas, it follows that atmospheric conditions underlying the sky envelope where our celestial cousins dwell must correspond to atmospheric conditions prevailing at terrestrial level. Thus, the inner blue sky must also correspond throughout the entire universe. Our experiments show that without the existence of an inner blue sky of gaseous content, there could be no luminous outer sky, which is an expression of sky gas to be observed over terrestrial or celestial areas. Go. Hence, any Martians, Venetians, Jupiterians, Librans. I don't know. I feel like I saw something. Libris. Oh, come on, man. Y'all see this right here? Libris. This is lining directly up with Jenny Nini. Directly up with what Admiral Byrd said and saw. more land beyond the pole, on the other side of the South Pole. When both poles are right next to each other, and you have Libris right here, Libris right here. Man, come on. Librans. So you're thinking that's a planet, and you have Libran here, and Libris here. Another connected sky here. You thinking it's a globular planet? I don't even know what planet he's referring to. We're talking worlds beyond the poles, Librans. Looking up or out from their respective land positions are during the day permitted to view their gaseous blue sky envelope with the same varying depth or shades of blue that we observe in our blue sky. The depth of blue will depend upon atmospheric conditions prevailing at the various celestial locations at the time of observation. Further, at the celestial sky's chemical content or gaseous intensity varies from time to time and from place to place, as does the content of our sky. It produces a corresponding variation in the intensity of outer sky luminosity to be observed against the dark stratosphere by remote observers everywhere. Therefore, the inner areas of illustrations denoting terrestrial and celestial sky as observed from land surface should not be a constant blue depth. By the same token, the outer sky luminosity will not be constant, but there are variations in luminous quality. As will be later shown, variations in luminous sky movement produce or accompany change of blue and luminous sky expressions. 5. Let's go. At night, inhabitants of all other parts of the universe observe seemingly globular and isolated areas of our luminous sky, outer sky, in the same manner as we are permitted to observe luminous, similar, globular, or isolated areas of their sky. They are permitted to see only the outer luminous expression of our sky, as we see only the outer luminous expression of our sky, as we see luminous areas of their outer sky, since their most powerful telescopes cannot penetrate through our skylight. How do you know? See, GNN be going off sometime. We be having to correct GNN. But it's all right, man. It's all right. They cannot hope to see our land or our blue sky as we see it until we arrive on the land under their blue sky. As our most powerful telescopic lenses cannot penetrate through skylight of the celestial, we have been unable to detect the land and vegetation under the luminous sky enveloping the entire celestial realm. 6. Moreover, the luminous outer surface of our entire terrestrial sky, which we know extends unbrokenly over dwellers of the universe, are compelled to observe millions of apparently globular, and therefore seemingly isolated bodies, thought the moving island. There are luminous sky areas, and their number would depend on the power of observing telescope lenses and other physical factors herein described. 7. Nowhere throughout the length and width of our terrestrial land and sky, or throughout the endless land and sky of the created universe, do disks, spheres, or globes actually exist, despite their seeming existence. They are entirely lens created. Nowhere throughout the length and width of our terrestrial land and sky, or throughout the endless land and sky of the created universe, do disks, spheres, or globes actually exist. Despite seeming existence, they are entirely lens created. These lenses will deceive you. The GoPro lenses that they have when they do the high altitude stuff, when they have the fake curvature with these fake curved lenses, even your airplanes have bubble curved lenses. They have you looking through a lens deception from hello, and you're so used to it that you accept it. They are entirely lens created. They represent the most striking examples of lens illusions, lens illusions ever known to man. 8. Therefore, the illustration's inner blue sky horizontal curves and the outer luminous sky curves are intended to indicate the deceptions experienced in observation. Neither the earth nor any part of the universe about the earth curves in agreement with the deceptions of curvature here presented. We may grant such curves realism only insofar as they have been created by the lenses, no lens can escape producing a curve. No lens can escape producing a curve. Even your eyes and your concave eyes, no lens can escape producing a curve at the proper distance on the horizontal or the perpendicular, as previously related. The physical structure and properties of all lenses demand that the curve be created. Then the lens created curve is accentuated by concept into the full-bodied and isolated globe or sphere as distant from the photograph or telescopically observed area or object is increased. There is in reality no such curvature to the endless sky and land continuous throughout the universe. The only such curvature that might possibly exist, and which we could never hope to determine, will be that of a conceptual nature having the universe as a whole curve in infinite time and space. So now you're talking 4 dimensions. And you say, okay, I can give you that the universe could be fine. Say a universe is a ball, but don't say the earth is a ball. Don't say the earth is a ball. But if you want to talk about time and space and something curving over each other in dimensions, all right, I can talk to you about curving dimensions. But don't you dare say that you're living on a ball spinning and want to tell me that you're in a ball universe. All right, you're just playing yourself. So as a whole curve in time and space, we're talking a whole other reality. I mean, a whole other, energy, connectivity outside of the earth. Granting such an inverifiable arrangement for the connected universe whole would in no way interfere with the all-important factor that the earth is connected and continuous, and that journey may be had to all areas thereof by movement on the same physical level. You can connect to all areas that you see in the sky by connected and continuous, thereof by movement on the same physical level. That journey may be had to all areas thereof by movement on the same physical level with this earth. That indicated movement would be straight ahead north from the North Pole and south from the South Pole. Straight ahead north from the North Pole and south from the South Pole. Dig on it. Straight ahead. Straight ahead, man. Just keep going, in other words. Keep going. The both poles are here, keep going. Wherever you're going to go, keep going. Go, 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 go. You're going to reach your connected celestial sky areas. The stars twinkle, twinkle where you are. Straight. The stars straight. Last one, photographs taken whenever and wherever in Peru. We're back to Jerusalem. Let's go. In Asia Minor or in our own Rocky Mountains in no way prove the so-called curvature of the earth. They prove only that the utilized lenses cannot avoid developing curves that have been mistakenly interpreted as applicable to the earth's contour. The lens itself created the curvature in the same manner that the optic lens, by grace of its structure and function, creates curves and deceptive horizons within the experience of everyone. For example, does the sky really curve down and meet the water or the land where horizons indicate it does? We know now that it doesn't, despite appearances, because physical contact with such horizontal points prove there is no such meeting. Does the square or U-shape opening to a tunnel draw together as it appears to do, or become globular to our sight as distance within the dark tunnel and away from daylight at the opening is increased, though it deceptively appears to draw together and become globular? Experience has taught us that the entrance retains its original shape and size. Does not the square top of a brick chimney become deceptively globular? As photographing altitude is increased directed over the chimney opening, such deceptive appearance would be imposed by the lens. Knowledge dictates that the chimney opening does not become globular. One of the classical and most common expressions of the unavoidable deceptions ensuing from lens function is that the two separate railroad tracks which seem to merge or meet in the distance. So you might see standing between railroad tracks at a distance based on your, you know what I'm saying, law perspective, you know what I'm saying, they'll seem to merge. They'll seem like both tracks are coming together, but obviously you know that they are keeping their same shape, same, you know, distance, same everything, but it's just your law perspective. It's just this curved lens that we're looking through. It's just a perspective that we can only see so far, and things appear to converge. A very modern example of illusion resulting from the lens function is presented in the flight of jet planes, as the speedy jet is observed moving on a direct horizon course from east to west, or vice versa. It must deceptively appear to be shooting up on the perpendicular, then prescribing a definite curve or arc as it approaches. Then, as it passes overhead and recedes in the distance, it appears to be dropping down to the land surface. The jet's horizontal course remains the same from the time it was sighted on one horizon until it was lost to view at the opposite horizon, but the lens develops the illusion that the jet was first shooting up and then shooting down. Nothing more vividly attests that the lens produces the curve. These examples, plus 1,000 others that could be cited, eloquently express that all lenses are subject to the functional error of the optic lens. Lenses, for all lenses, were patterned after the human eye. This means that the lens itself is drawing to a focal point, creating the illusionary curve. And that curvature illusion, in turn, produces globular areas and objects where, in fact, nothing rounded or globular exists. Therefore, as the inner blue sky seemingly dips or curves to meet the land or water under the power of lens convergence, which creates our horizon, so do the luminous outer sky areas of the universe suffer the same affliction. It makes no difference if the sky area is one of 100 miles or of 100,000 miles. As distances increase, the original illusionary curve becomes deceptively filled in with body property, and there is projected the further illusion of a completely globular and isolated area. In such manner does the universe about us become cluttered with isolated globular and spherical bodies that have no part in the structure of the universe. In the 1931 Stratosphere Ascent of Professor Auguste Piccard. We're going to get some of this Auguste Piccard, man, because we got it before, who did a stratosphere experiment in 1931. This ain't no new, man. So these experiments been put out, and the recordation is out there. The photographing camera lens produced a partial disk of the terrestrial sky area, which Piccard barely penetrated at an altitude of 10 miles. That disk development, which was referred to as the upturned disk, was partial only because sufficient distance had been achieved from the gaseous sky area. In the subsequent 1935 Air Corps ascent, another recorded experiment showing this particular connected sky area, this stratospheric, altitude situation. 1935 Air Corps ascent to an altitude of 14 miles. There was sufficient distance from the sky area, and the partial disk became rounded out to present the appearance of a complete disk. One may more readily understand the lens development of curves and disks if one holds in mind a picture of the first quarter or crescent moon mentally follows its monthly course of filling in or completion to a full moon. Confirmation since 1935 of the unfailing development of the illusions described in all telescopic observation of the universe about us attests to the physical, or to the reality of the physical continuity. Every foot of the endless celestial empire, telescopically observed and astronomically designated stars, planets, etc., it thereby shown to be a physical connected, as Figure 2 describes, without illusory curves. The celestial is shown to be as much a continuance of this earth area as the various countries of the earth are physically connected and made continuous by the known land and water links. The terrestrial has affinity with the celestial in the same manner that the states of the United States are affiliated with the national whole. So you wouldn't say that the states of the United States are up from Russia, right? They're straight ahead. They go straight. Same thing with these stars above you. There must deceptively appear to be physical disconnections in the universe whole, where each faculty, or where each faultily observed celestial and terrestrial sky area, in being brought to convergence under lens functioning, seemingly becomes isolated from its neighboring area, as previously described, an inescapable condition of observation. Strange as it may seem, the necessary allowances for such a handicap of observation has never been made, because the handicap, though known to be applicable to observations at terrestrial level, is denied application to observations at celestial level. Complete domination by the mathematical prescription of celestial mechanics, though that prescription contains no ingredients from the universe of reality. There's nothing real about this illusion of math that they're flipping on this particular model. The angels have flipped your math inside out. So they can take something 32 miles and then say, no, that's over 800,000 miles across. And then mathematically, it would still fit in their model, the same way it fits in your reality model. So it has no ingredients in the university of reality. It has endowed illusions developed in telescopic observation of the universe with the reality that they cannot and do not possess. Therefore, we should never lose sight of the fact that the designation of celestial areas as globular and isolated is at the best a vague assumption within the world of the astro mathematician, rather than a creative fact within the world of things of which we are a part. While further observation of figure one may realize that were one occupying any area of the illustrated universe whole, or observing any area thereof from the stratosphere position, the depicted curved and luminous outer sky areas of the terrestrial and the celestial would deceptively appear as full-body isolated globular entities. This observational condition would result from the fact that when the luminous curved surface area is detected, one's mind is automatized or automatically to fill in the body proportion. Again, the observational condition will result from the fact that when the luminous curved surface area is detected, one's mind is automatized to fill in the body proportion. In the drawing, it is not possible to show the full globularity which such curved areas impose on the mind. It's a frequency war. They're imposing this on your mind. And make for the concept of isolation. Average intelligence can readily discern that the luminous curved areas will not be connected through observation. They are always disconnected through observation. All right. Though connected here for illustrative purposes, observation would hold a dark area at every point of connection. Thus would there develop the concept of their isolation. Study of the inner sky curves may serve as a guide for understanding that the lens does not conveniently prepare appearances as illustrated. The lens does just the contrary. It severs each connection. Wow, the lens severs each connection. Even the eyes you're seeing through in this illusion, in this matrix, sever each connection. Then stratosphere darkness envelopes each curved areas on both sides and underneath. In so doing, the area becomes isolated to all appearances, though the inner sky curves have also been drawn as connected. The lens observing any area of the blue sky and the outer luminous sky continue unbrokenly in infinitum for infinity as shown in figure 2, but the lens must deny such realistic continuity. Life is no more than our own individual concept of life. We all see and believe only that which we want to see and believe. Hence, primed observations are always of doubtful value, as dubious as spies. Non-existent celestial, globular, and spherical areas are clothed with reality through the capriciousness of optic lenses, aggravated by other lenses and conceptual enlargement of the faulty image. So long as one observes luminous celestial and terrestrial sky curves produced by the lenses and hold the illusionary globe to be reality, it is unlikely that anything but globes and spheres will be encountered, regardless of the power of the telescopic lenses. Moreover, the assumed Earth sphere and its companion celestial pseudospheres have become so firmly fixed in mind that presentations of such spheres, which naturally show full body properties, are accepted as being factually descriptive of the composition of the universe. Such acceptance is had in spite of the overpowering fact that no telescopic observer and no photographing camera ever recorded realistic body proportions for any area of the universe. The lenses detected and reproduced only a disc-like surface which was created with full body fullness. The lenses detected and reproduced. The lenses detected, not you, not reality. The lenses detected and reproduced only a disc-like surface area which was created with full body fullness. Therefore, the glamorously portrayed Earth globe and its celestial counterparts present nothing more profound than an outstanding expression of lens error and human misconception based on that error, plus the artful embellishment of globe symbols by otherwise capable artists, NASA artists who likewise are under the domination of the popular misconception. NASA, Masonic deception, misconception, domination. Get it? Modern discovery establishes that the assumed isolation of the terrestrial from the celestial is a fallacy. The Earth's northern connected land link with the celestial is confirmed point of theory in February 1947. The United States Naval Arctic Expeditionary Force under the command of Rear Admiral Richard E. Byrd, achieved a memorable 7-hour flight over land extending beyond the northern geographic center or mathematically prescribed northern end of the Earth. That flight confirmed that there was no northern physical end to the Earth and that the 1543 conclusions were most premature. The northern physical continuity of the Earth with celestial areas of the universe also has its counterpart in the land now known to extend beyond the South Pole. Thought moving island, let's go. All future physical progress beyond the imaginary North and South Pole points must and will lead into real land areas of the universe appearing up or out from our present terrestrial position. We may move as Rear Admiral Byrd moved beyond the North Pole and out of physical bounds of this Earth on the same physical level as this Earth. Our movement into land areas of the universe about us need never vary from known movement in journeys from New York City to Chicago, or from Boston to Hong Kong, or between whatever terrestrial points one is pleased to consider. We may fly the distance with means now at hand, or we may journey in any of the other established modes for making possible journeys from city to city and from nation to nation of the terrestrial area. Except for the vast ice barriers at the Arctic and Antarctic regions, especially at the Antarctic, we might even walk. Wow. Like, you don't even need no high-tech stuff, man. I mean, technically you could walk there if it wasn't for certain ice barriers. Certain ice barriers. You could, this is just land, water, and ice, people. But they made it outer space to you. They made it something that you can't conceive of journeying. There's no more explorers to even be excited about, right? Except the vast areas at the Arctic and Antarctic regions. Especially at the Antarctic, we might even walk. However, early explorers found walking and dog-sled movement most unsuitable transportation over frigid polar areas. This is one of the reasons why there was no concerted early effort to peer over the top of the world, so-called to determine what actually exists beyond the supposed terrestrial ends. Further reason may have been that one does not periodically attempt to penetrate into a beyond which his concept denies. So if he's brainwashed that there is no beyond, like you are, like we all are, then you don't try to go beyond because there is no beyond. But not anymore. As we awaken, we understand there is no beyond. There is no, barrier for us. You know what I'm saying? The Most High is not going to put barriers for us. The Most High is going to, lower all of these barriers, you know what I'm saying, and incorporate the fullness for us. And that is beyond the illusion, beyond the thought-moving island, all right? Further reason may have been that one does not periodically attempt to penetrate into a beyond which his concept denies. If concept has not first established the thing or condition, in this case land beyond the poles, it cannot and does not exist despite its reality. Despite the lamentable restrictions of theory, men have persistently wondered about the Earth's extent. The earliest attempt to reach the North Pole point and satisfy the curiosity was made by Sir Martin Frobisher of England in 1578. Check it out. But the notable accomplishment of just reaching the pole point could in no manner permit determination of territory extending beyond the pole point and out of bounds of the theorized Earth globe. One is not permitted a visa of polar territory to utmost unlimited horizons as one is in viewing the plains in Kansas. One's determination must be based solely on a mathematical formula which maintains that the geographic point reached is in fact the end. And though infinity extends beyond in a continuous land and water course, men would have no reason or inclination to penetrate that course if concept holds that such course did not exist. Therefore, though the space myth did not restrict movement to the polar areas of an assumed Earth ending, it did most definitely restrict movement beyond such supposed Earth ends where men believed they would be projected into space, assumed to exist beyond the ends. So now you think it's outer space. Just like before they said you'll fall off the Earth. Now you keep going, you're going to go into outer space, man. No, more land, more water, more ice. Hence the awesome conjectured northern and southern space of the Copernican theory erected the identical barriers. Now these were mental barriers. They didn't need the ice barriers when they put this Copernican round Earth, outer space situation, limited Earth situation. I mean, where does all this land fit in the ball? If you keep finding more land, you're going to have to keep adjusting your ball and the circumference of your ball. You can't accept all this land on your ball. It doesn't fit on your ball, but it does fit in reality. Hence, the awesome conjecture, northern and southern space of the Copernican theory erected the identical barriers to northern and southern progress as the obsolete but Ptolemaic theory had imposed on movement east and west from the old world prior to 1492. It's all about you. Copper color race found here. How fearful has been the word space. How fearful has been the word space. So this is a comparison with this Copernican ball earth thing of falling over the edge, all right, or going into outer space because you went too far. The same way as falling over the edge, this Ptolemaic theory had been imposed moving east to west on the old world prior to 1492, falling off the edge, going in outer space. It's a mind trick. It's a mind trick. You don't need barriers when you put barriers up in your mind and they give you a ball image. And we'll get this chapter 3 next, man. A modern Columbus seeks a Queen Isabella. It's all about you. Yeah, man, I used to hate reading until I realized I was the book. And that these books that previously were costing hundreds and hundreds of dollars just to get your hands on this stuff. So they're not pushing this if it costs hundreds of dollars to get your hands on. You know how long it took for us to get working links, and then they kept going down. We finally got a working link. Now apparently you can buy this book relatively cheaper. You know what I'm saying? Apparently some copy, some publication now. So, go get it. I don't know if it's the real thing, but go get it, man. Who knows, man? All right, so, we're just getting some drop, man. So I want to check this out. We're talking about the lens, curvature, and deception. Now pay attention to these lenses because you're going to see this through this GoPro lens. It's going to look like curvature one way, then it's going to look like curvature another way. So you're going to see the convex, concave, and you're going to see how they're playing lens tricks. Now imagine if you were really on a ball, you won't be able to play the same lens tricks with a ball. Only on flat plane, or you're going to keep going from convex to concave. So let's pay attention and pay attention to how big the sun is. Do you think it's 800 something plus million miles across, or only 32 miles across? So, open your eyes and use your senses as we regain them. So let's check this out. Let's check it out together. Now you see the sun right here, right? Now let's go higher. Let's go higher. Okay. Now pay attention. Pay attention to the lens. Pay attention to this lens. Look how flat that is. Now we're over 100,000 feet up in the air. Now these stratosphere experiments, they went up 65 miles. You know what I'm saying? Higher, 70-something miles. Pay attention. Watch how the sun is looking. Right, beaming over certain areas of the earth.